Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing well. Everyone's staying safe. I hope you guys are excited for Easter weekend, getting a long weekend in there. I just want to take a couple of minutes as we're coming into the weekend to talk to you guys about the week. Uh, when I think about Easter, I think about Palm Sunday, Good Friday, and then Easter Sunday. I think about 3 of the 8 days. But what about the rest of them? Because I think about it, and Palm Sunday, Christ is coming into the city. He's being rejoiced, being celebrated by the people because they think the Messiah's come home. And then by Friday they're killing him. It's just a crazy, crazy thing for me to think about that within a 5 day period, how much of a change could happen. As I was reading this article, it just made me really think about the week as a whole. So Palm Sunday, you have Christ coming in. He's celebrating. People are rejoicing that he's there. And then what happened? How did we get to Friday? So looking through it, Monday. So he wastes no time getting the people riled up. He walks into the temple, flips over the tables, chases everyone out, and cleanses the place. So something that they've been doing for a while, he is completely just torn apart. Day two, Tuesday. Tuesday's the last time that he has a public sermon where he gets to speak in front of people, what gets to um, share what's up here with with the people and the people that are following him, and he uses it to remind the the religious leaders how they are failing, how they have become wicked people. And the story he uses of, they call it the evil farmer. So the idea being that someone has created this land, prepared it, and then given it to people. And then when he returns to collect part of his crop, he sends a couple of servants, and then the farmers who were taking care of the land that were using his land, uh, they killed the servants. So then he does it again with more servants, and the same thing happens. And then he sends his son, and they kill his son and bury him and hide him in one of the fields. So then he asks the religious leaders, "What do you think? What do you think the owner, the landowner, is going to do when he comes to the farm now?" And their response was, "He's going to chase them out. He's going to kill them and give it to people who actually care about it." And Jesus is like, "Exactly. So why are you the evil farmers?" So Monday, day one, shows his authority, cleanses the temple. Day two, comes in, talks to the leaders, reminds them about who they're supposed to be, and what the consequences of the road they're on is. Day three is Wednesday, and it's kind of viewed as a bit of a rest day, where he's relaxing at a follower's house, and one of the women there takes out a bottle of perfume, oil, whatever you want to call it, and anoints Christ's body. And the disciples are immediately mad. They're thrown off that why wouldn't you sell it and use the money to help people that way? But Jesus, what he says to them is, "For you always have the poor with you, and whenever you want, you can do good for them. But you will not always have me. She has done what she could. She has anointed my body beforehand for burial." And it's just that last word, or the last couple words there. She has anointed my body beforehand for burial. He knows. Like we always know that he knew the plan all the time. But this is where he's telling the disciples, like, this is what's gonna happen. So she's done what she could to prepare for that moment. It just kind of threw them off, especially Judas, because it's quite comical. I find when I read the story about, and it's in Matthew, when he goes to the religious leaders, and where they make the agreement, and in the book of Matthew, it's quite literally, he walks in. "How much will you pay me to betray Jesus?" They say 30 pieces of silver, and he walks out. That's it. That's the whole conversation. So it wasn't like a contemplating, oh, should I do this? Should I didn't do it? He just walks in, says it, they pay him, he's out. And from that moment on, he's looking to betray Jesus. And one thing that stood out to me too, I'm sure some of you know this, some of you may not know this, but 30 pieces of silver. Why 30 pieces of silver? So 30 pieces of silver was the price for a slave. And it showed how hardened the hearts of the religious leaders were, and how tortured Judas was there, that Christ's life, his teacher, his friend, his mentor, all he was worth to him was a slave. And that's it. That's it. Okay, so that brings us to Thursday. So I wanted to start Thursday night because it's really the lead up into the weekend here, and it's also a day where we see quite a bit go on. First, we have Christ washing the disciples' feet. We have the Passover meal where he announces one of them is going to be the betrayer. They go to the pray at the Mount of Olives, and then at the end of the night he is arrested. So a lot of big things happen in that day. But the one I wanted to focus on was just the prayer at the Mount of Olives. When Jesus goes to pray, he says, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup of suffering be taken away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine." And then he returns to the disciples, encourages them to zone in, to pray with him, and then he goes to pray again. He says, "My Father, if this cup cannot be taken away unless I drink it, your will be done." And it's such a powerful line that not only once does he pray, "Your will be done," but he does it twice. So you know how committed he is, and how much he's willing to sacrifice and willing to submit to God's will, to God's plan, because he knows this is the only way for it to happen. He's going to go through unbelievable torment to do it, but he was willing to do it for God's plan. I just think it's such a great reminder, especially right now when we have a lot of stress going on in the world. We've got some health crisis. There's economic stress for a lot of people. People are losing their lives, losing their jobs. And it's hard. It's hard to focus on God's plan during it all. But I just really want to encourage you that through this weekend, really zone in with God. Take some time to pray for Him and to remind yourself and to remind Him that you submit to His plan. And that's just where I wanted to end off with you guys. For the next days as we're going through the weekend here, I'm going to do posts each morning to talk about what goes on in the day and just something to pray about, to kind of really focus in this weekend as we're with our family and we've got time to be with God as well. And we want to remind ourselves that God's will be done in our lives as it was through Christ, and we want to follow in His footsteps. So if you have time each morning this weekend, it's going to be about anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes. We're going to do a post on our YouTube channel, and I'll put a reminder in the Facebook page as well. Have a great night.